Well, greetings, blade fans. Special edition of OG Blade Reviews here today. I've been waiting a while since it was introduced and has been displayed all over the internet, Instagram, YouTube, etc. This fantastic new design designed originally by Bob Demarco. Now, I have to be careful how I describe this whole process, but Bob did come up with the original design for this knife, the Agent 001. And it has spawned a series of agent-based knives with the same handle, I believe. The 002 and the 003, as I'm seeing described on T.Kell's website. Anyway, I don't want to go all over the place with a big roundabout explanation. I think you want to see the knife. It's made by T.Kell Knives, was originally designed, it's being reviewed by me, by the way, OG Blade. It was originally designed by Bob Demarco. He sketched it all out on paper and worked back and forth for quite a few months, I believe, with T.Kell to come up with the final design. And I got to tell you, the final design is amazing. Just absolutely amazing. Tim had sent me this one in blue. Now, there's a lot of different grip styles. This is not the burl. This is not the blue jean. I don't think. Maybe it's the blue jean. But it is a layered black and blue. Black and blue. It's a bruised blue. It's a bruised handle. Anyway, he sent me this beautiful blue handle. And I'm just going to show you the knife because it's amazing. And, of course, the sheaths are amazing, too. We'll get back to that in a moment. Here is the Agent 001, collaboration between Bob Demarco and T.Kell of T.Kell Knives. And once again, Tim's workmanship and final production of these knives is just amazing. He brought 200 to the Blade Show 2024 in Atlanta. He had another 200 for sale on his website. They're all gone. I mean, they just evaporated within a matter of a week, I think. And I know there's going to be further batches coming up of this knife. This particular one is an AEBL. He is also making it in 80 CRV2. You have a choice when you order it. So if you want a less stain resistant, but maybe tougher steel, you go with the 80 CRV2. If you want the stain resistant, you go with the AEBL. And AEBL, he does his Frogman Tactical out of that. I've got that knife, and that's, you know, they all hold their edges, and they come through with the most amazing edge. It is toothy and it is fine at the same time. We're just going to show you that real quick. It bites. And at the same time, cutting paper is not what it's designed for, as you probably know. It is a tactical knife, but I assure you, this will cut, as Doug Marcaida likes to say. It is just a bitey, bitey edge. They do a beautiful job on their final grinds on those edge bevels. Really, really nice. We're going to measure it up in a moment. But first I have to tell you, these handles come off and you can get extra handles and put them on easily in about 5 minutes with a hex wrench. They are the lashing screws. I think just about all the ones that Tim is making now are the lashing screws, which means you can put cord through there and lash it to a pole or what have you. You want to do spearfishing out in the woods in your survival situation. You can see that that is a pretty thick blade stock there. We're going to measure that up soon. It is nickel boron coated. Nickel boron coating is about 70 plus Rockwell. It is extremely slick and it is a corrosion inhibitor. It actually bonds to the molecules of the steel, I am told. I've reviewed quite a few T.Kell knives, so what holds for them holds for this. regardless of the steel and the handle color. Design-wise, well, let me hold off on that for a moment. And I've got lots of compares over on the side as well. Let's do some quick measurements so you know what we're dealing with here for specifications. So I would call it a 7.9 overall knife, and a not quite 3.5-inch cutting edge, but let's say it's a I know he's got the specs out there. I'm not using anything real accurate to measure this with, but we're going to call it a 3.6-inch blade and a 3.35-inch cutting edge. Close enough. You get the idea. You can see it in my hand, and my hand is medium large. One hand's a little smaller than the other these days. Surgery, whatnot. Handle thickness, 0.55, straight out. And blade thickness, 0.16. In millimeters, we're talking 4.2 millimeters. That's a nice, hefty blade stock. And just the knife, weighing it up. Get some paper crud off of there. We've got 4.5 ounces. Not bad. If I add the sheath, then we've got 5.9 ounces, almost 6. So sheath weighs something, but really, I mean, it's basically plastic material. And while we're on the topic of the sheath, all of Tim's sheaths are probably the most amazing Kydex sheaths in the industry. He is the only one, as far as I know, that does this style of thumb ramp with the jimps on it. Nobody else that I've seen does that. You may have seen it, but I haven't. That means that that's how easily you can pop that off. That means if it's in your pocket, you can pocket it off. If it's on your belt, you can grab it and pull it. It comes through this particular one, and you've got your choice, but he happened to send me this plastic hook style, which, you know, in the face of it, you're saying, oh, it's not metal, it's not good, so on and so forth. But it is very easy to snap on and off the belt. It stays on there. And where everybody seems to be going with Tim's smaller knives these days is to put it right in the center of the waistline near the buckle of the belt. It doesn't print. You can put a loose shirt over it, and you can very easily draw it from the right or the left side, depending upon which hand is your predominant hand or is the hand you're going to use in that situation. Lots of slots. You can put just about anything, any mounting hardware on here. He does offer discrete carry concepts clips as well, both the double hook, the single hook. You can put a belt loop on that. Sky's the limit. If you carry small fixed blade knives, you probably have your preferred method of carrying it. Now let's talk about ergonomics. The ergos on this knife are nothing short of amazing for a small knife that doesn't have a very tall handle. There's been quite a progression, and Bob Demarco, I'll try to link his video, will show you the progression of design of this knife and how they finally ended up with the bird's beak hook on there. And it's very interesting that we've got a screw right near there, which looks like the bird's eye. It kind of looks like a pheasant or a peacock or something. It's even got the little crest up top if you look at it this way. Now, that's something that the Filipino martial artists and Moros and various warriors of the Philippine Islands and Indonesia had done many, many centuries ago, which is to put that hook on there. So we call it a bird's beak simply because of what I showed you there, that with or without the eye, it looks like the bird's beak. It gives you a great way to snag it. And you've also got the jimping there, which aids in that. As you can see, you've got a glass breaker / skull crushing type pommel. So that is available to you when you strike this way. You might even, if you got to break glass with it, you might even keep it in the sheath and just snap it that way on the glass. So it is kind of askew. It's about 45 degrees off the center line, but I think it's still going to work fairly well. If not, you've still got the whole pommel there. So in my medium-large hand, we have this going on, that much left over. It's very comfortable. I have to say, one little niggly complaint that I had about some of T.Kell's other designs early on was that for me, and I'm emphasizing for me, the handle was a little bit short. I just felt like I wasn't quite on the handle. And I realized making a short handle on a small knife will help you conceal it. That's what it's all about. Keeps it small, keeps it comfortable. But this is just right for a small-ish knife, meaning narrow and with not too long a blade, under 4 inches. This is a double edge. They do come in single edge if your jurisdiction does not allow for a double edge. I've seen single edge knives like this, and they are sharpenable. So if you change your mind later on and you're pretty good at sharpening, you can definitely put an edge bevel on the unsharpened swedge of the unsharpened model. We've got fantastic sharpening choils on both the top edge and the bottom edge, meaning you've got a clean line through there to end your stroke with your sharpener, whether you're doing it freehand or with a fixed angle sharpener, doesn't matter. We've got these cutouts. I think he calls this style the bullet grip, because of these cutouts, and they give you lots of extra grip. It just feels very comfortable in the hand. The surface of the, I believe this is G10, yeah. The surface of the G10 is left very kind of natural, and it's not slick at all. So that's just about right, I would say. The jimping here, excellent, really excellent. The reverse grip, nothing short of perfect. Look at that. And that double edge gives you that inward edge that we're looking for on the jab and rip. So the T.KELL or T.KELL basically means to jab and rip, or just to rip. And it's just a confidence-inspiring blade to have with you. I think it's a top of the heap. And Tim says it's probably the best knife he's ever produced or designed. That is the Agent 001. I don't have the Agent 002, which is a Wharncliffe, or the Agent 03, which I forget the design on that one. I just saw it the other day on Tim's website. But let's line this up with some others. And I've got so many others in this size that I'm definitely going to do a complete video on a compare of a small to mid-size tactical knife. This is the Nighthawk with the burl. This is a T.KELL Nighthawk with the kind of a brown wood burl grip, which is very cool. And I'm not going to recite to you all the steels on these. Sometimes they're marked, sometimes they aren't. Yeah, this one is 80 CRV2. Can you tell the difference? I bet you can't. You may or may not even be able to tell the difference unless you're sharpening it a lot and using it in the field a lot. Yeah, sorry for that little jump in the video. I had to grab something else. So let's take the Nighthawk out for a moment, and putting them in sheaths as I take them out of the sheaths, simply because the sheaths are so similar. What did I want to bring out next? Well, this is interesting. I know, because I correspond a lot with Bob and watch a lot of his videos, the Knifejunkie, that this was a favorite knife, and probably still is a very favorite knife of his. This is the Rapid Strike from Tops. And look at that similarity. This is the unsharpened version. They make a sharpened version as well. This is not 1095. This was a big exception for Tops, 154 cm. I don't think they have too many blades they made in 154 cm. But Bob changed the handle, created the hook, taller handle, taller blade. We have a little bit of a clip going on here. I don't know if you can see that. I'll see if I can show it to you later. It's hardly noticeable. It looks like this is round, but it's not. That's a steep line right there from this midpoint of the blade on the top to the point. This is a gradual drop. But look at that. Very similar jimping. Unfortunately, on this one, they put the glass breaker right on the tip, which is probably why Bob moved it to the top. I think maybe Tim was even responsible for that. And this is still a neatly done knife. And look at the fancy liners they use on it, spacers. And the jimping goes all the way along the spine of the knife, the back spine of the knife. So, and all the way underneath. So there was a lot of work that went into this particular knife as far as machining goes. Now, here's another possible inspiration. And I'm not saying, you know, these are copies. There's thousands of knives that are coming out today. Some are going to echo others intentionally or unintentionally. And there's nothing wrong with borrowing concepts and ideas. You can't copyright everything. You know, you can't make every knife totally unique. We share a lot of thoughts and a lot of ideas and a lot of principles. I mean, there's even this whole idea of archetypes that goes back to one of Freud's friends there, never mind, saying that, you know, we share subliminally, we share a lot of ideas and thoughts we're not aware of. Anyway, I won't get into that whole line of thinking for another time. This is a compliance edge DCK, not with the ring. That's a DCR when he puts the ring on there. But here we also have a very pronounced hook or bird's beak on the pommel. And we have even the same heavy jimping here, even heavier than on the agent. And a lot of people have said, doesn't that hurt or cut your finger? It actually doesn't. These edges are actually not that sharp, but your flesh presses in and it's extremely grippy and extremely grippy on the pommel as well. So that is the DCK by Compliance Edge. A knife that also looks similar that people have called a steak knife, combat steak knife, is the El Pionero by Tops, a design by El Calderon to fit in with the Elvia style knives in the Libre and Ed's Manifesto fighting styles. Not sharpened on the top edge, but could be. It's only got like maybe less than half kind of a bayonet grind going on there, and a thinner or narrower blade and about the same height handle that is cut out here so that this notch will tell you when that edge is in for the Elvia fighting techniques, Libre fighting techniques, edge in, ripping, T.KELL, but can easily be used for utility. As we said, it looks like a steak knife. And one that I happen to like a lot recently came out from Viper Knives. This is the Handy, not a very combat sounding name, but nonetheless, it is an extremely ergonomic blade. And again, I plan on doing a compare of all these little knives for pocket carry, for belt carry coming up, because I've got quite a number of them, and I would like to do a compare because maybe you would like to be able to compare them, but you don't have them. So this is Magna Cut, and this has a very nice kind of glossy stonewash on it, very fine jimping. And this one happens to be an Ultim, although they come in many other handle styles. Very ergonomic. There's a few Bastinelli knives along with this one that I feel are extremely ergo friendly, just fit right into the hand. And yeah, like I said, I want to make sure I got the right sheaths. I'll show you one more. Good Lord, I've got a pile of them over here. Here is another, and this is the Nova 1, designed by Bob Demarco and made by Hogtooth Knives. And this was a limited run. This was gifted to me by Bob Demarco for a birthday gift, and I can't thank him enough. It's just a beautiful knife. Number 24 of 27. And you can see his Knifejunkie marking there. As a matter of fact, you can see the Knifejunkie marking on the right side of the Agent 001, as it should be. This is a shorter knife, and this is an instance where I really appreciate this little ½ inch or so extra handle length, because I feel just a little cramped on this, like my pinky wants to start coming off of there. But again, it carries very, very well because of that. Beautiful little Bowie with a recurve on this one, 154 cm. Excellent knife. Let's talk more about the Agent 001, however. Just rolls right up into the fist. Beautiful, beautiful feeling knife. And again, you don't need to get the double edge if you can't have the double edge. The single edge, I think, is going to be just as effective. The only thing that it has a bit of a shortcoming with no edge on the top would be on the thrust and pull, the ripping techniques, where this edge is going to help you pull it through that, as Tim likes to say, that pork flesh. And Tim makes his knives to cut things other than paper. Make no bones about that. Bones and flesh. Well, I'm so happy to have this finally, and I can tell you it's going to be a regular daily companion and in the EDC rotation for sure. Not sure if I've left anything out, but I'm sure Tim and Bob will both be viewing this video. At least I hope they will. And they can fill you in on any remaining factoids about the Agent 001. Keep your eyes open for the 002 and the 003. And thank you for your expertise in designing a perfect carry tactical EDC knife, Bob Demarco and T.Kell. Blessings. Be well. Don't forget to give this vid a like, long as it is, and subscribe. Be well.